KLP Jonesboro, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council. It's now time for Community Conversations, a program focusing on the people working to make the Jonesboro community a better place, while offering viewpoints from all sides of the issues. The views expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of KLEK 102.5 FM, the voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, or our underwriters or sponsors.
All right, good morning. Happy Friday to all of you out there. You are tuned in to Community Conversations, and we have a special extended show for you today. We have U.S. Senator John Boozman. Did I get that correct, sir?
You sure did.
Okay. Thank you for...
And it's great to be with you today.
Thank you so much for agreeing to doing this interview.
Thanks for having us.
We're just trying to do our part to help the citizens get to know who is running for what office and just get to know a little bit more about you and what issues you stand for, what things you would like to see change, what things you are working on to change. So, can we please just get a brief introduction, about who you are, where you are, things of that nature?
Well, as you said, I'm one of our United States senators. I grew up in Fort Smith. I'm kind of the American dream. My dad was a master sergeant in the United States Air Force, retired from that. And then growing up in Fort Smith, decided to become an optometrist, went to the University of Arkansas, and then furthered my education at Memphis, and then practiced in Rogers, Arkansas. I got into politics. I had three daughters that were in the public school, and just really felt like I could perhaps be helpful in that area. And so I served on the school board for 7 years, and then Asa Hutchison, who is our congressman from the 3rd District, was asked by President Bush to become head of the Drug Enforcement Agency. And so that left a vacancy.
Okay. And
I jumped in, was elected to Congress, and then decided to run for Senate and finishing up my first term.
Okay, well, we thank you for the work that you have put in thus far, and I'm looking forward to, what you have to say concerning the issues that are coming up.
And getting into that, how are you doing today, Senator?
I'm doing great.
All right, Senator, you have introduced a few bills while you have been in Congress. I'm looking at some of the work that you've done. The first one is the Water Resources Development Act. This important water infrastructure bill passed the Senate. The bill strengthens Arkansas's navigable waterways, ensures that we have safe, reliable sources of drinking water, and addresses agricultural water supply. It also includes a number of provisions authorized by Senator Boozman to help Arkansas. So, Senator, if you could just give some of your comments about that act and how it has helped the people of Arkansas.
Well, this is really important. This is not a glamorous thing, but our transportation, the way that we move goods and services, is so very important to our economy. And our inland waterways, the Mississippi River, a number of rivers in Arkansas, that's how we move products, particularly farm products. And we've got a lot of steel going on right now. That's how you move big commodities like that. And so getting this bill reauthorized, spending money to repair the inland waterways that we have, and then also create new opportunities for moving goods and services is really very, very important. So we worked hard to get that passed in the Senate. The House of Representatives now is working on it, and they should shortly pass their bill. And then we will work hard to come together and present something to the president. And the good thing about these things, this isn't Democrats and Republicans. This is just people working together for our infrastructure. And so, like I say, we should hopefully get that done in the next couple months.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, sir. And the next item on the list I see is Department of Veterans Affairs Expiring Authorities Act of 2016. And this one says, this protects important veteran programs, ensuring they continue operating next fiscal year. The legislation includes provisions reauthorizing veteran housing programs that you have helped to author. So can you please elaborate on that?
Yes, and again, taking care of our veterans is so important. we always have to remember the benefits that the veterans receive. Those aren't handouts. Those aren't things that are just given to them. Those are things that they've earned. These are earned benefits. And so, we have a situation where, sadly, some of our veterans, for different reasons, have gotten themselves in a situation where they don't have homes or out on the streets. The program that helped with that a great deal was set to expire. And so myself and Senator Hirono from Hawaii introduced a bill to make sure that program, which does a great job, would continue on. And so we were able to get that placed into a much bigger bill and get that passed in the Senate. And so again, these are things that are very, very important and make a huge difference in the lives of individuals.
Yes, sir.
And speaking of veterans, Senator Boozman, this week Congress passed legislation creating a wall of remembrance for the Korean War Memorial on the National Mall. This addition to the current memorial will be built without the use of public funds. We recognize the individual members of the United States Armed Forces who gave their lives in theater during the Korean War, as well as the number of service members who were wounded in action or listed as missing in action or who were prisoners of war during the Korean War. This was a bill that was championed by you, so let's just get your comments and thoughts on that.
Well, same thing, just an effort to remember those that have served, and in this case, really made the ultimate sacrifice for us. And so the Korean War Monument now is, in fact, it's one of my favorites. It's very, very well done. But what we're trying to do, we introduced legislation, got it passed, that said, let's actually list the names of the people that died, during this time. And it's so impactful. You see, you talk about so many casualties and things like that, but when you actually see, the space that it requires to list all of those names, and then two, their comrades, people that served with them, family, to come up and be able to actually see the name, on a wall, so that they can, I think it helps them pay their respects and just remember, that these really are individuals. The other thing that we have to remember, that I was at a ceremony a couple of years ago when the traveling Vietnam War, and the local ROTC from the high school was the color guard. And you look at them, and these are young people that are 16, 17, 18 years old, and you look at the walls and the Vietnam Wall, and then now looking at these names that's going to go up in the Korea section, most of these people that that are on these walls are about that age. Wow. So tremendous sacrifice. It's just something that we always need to remember and keep in our hearts, not only on Veterans Day but every day.
Wow, that's wonderful.
Now, Senator Boozman, an issue that you care strongly about is national security, and this is a main topic of concerns for Arkansans. Senator Boozman, you delivered a floor speech about national security last week. You highlighted how the Obama administration's Iran deal, according to your words, is allowing Tehran to continue its nuclear activities while rebuilding its arsenal and belligerently bullying the United States and our allies. The fact that North Korea is ramping up its nuclear program to try to get the same sweetheart deal. On top of that, the threat from ISIS continues to grow, despite the president's attempt to convince the public that radical Islamic terror is not a problem. In addition, the administration continues to pursue closing Gitmo and transferring detainees. So I just kind of want to get your thoughts on that. A few months ago, I interviewed Senator Cotton, and he kind of also felt very strongly about this topic. So I just would like to get your comments and thoughts as well.
No, very much. I'm out and about in Arkansas as much as anybody, and the two things that I think are on people's minds are jobs, the economy. If you don't have a job, if you can't take care of your family, then everything else is pretty unimportant. Besides that is national security. And I think people are very, very concerned when we turn on the television today or pick up a newspaper. The headlines are full of just really difficult situations going on. So the Iran deal was a bad deal. And the reason it was a bad deal, we started out with the idea that under no circumstances would Iran be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. We wound up actually saying, well, don't build one for 10 years and then you can do what you want to do. So the problem is if Iran goes nuclear, Saudi Arabia will go nuclear. Turkey will go nuclear. Egypt will go nuclear. All of these countries to protect themselves against the Iranians. One is the Saudis, and that group are Sunnis. The Iranians are Shias. They don't like each other, and so they're very fearful of each other. So you're going to have nuclear proliferation in the Middle East. The other problem was we gave them $150 billion, which, is greatly going to enhance their economy. So it allows them to spread terror. Everyone agrees that they're the leading cause of terror in the world. So when you put all that together, like I say, it's just not a very good deal at all. So we've got to call it what it is. It is radical Islam, and these folks don't like us. And we've seen the brutality, expressed by their films and stuff. The beheadings, throwing people off of buildings, burning them in cages, and so we have to be very, very aggressive. And in regard to national security, I've got 3 grown daughters who I think the world of, would do anything, in the world for them, but I can't protect them, from the threat overseas. Only the federal government can do that. So that should be our number one priority, in the sense that, that's really a major reason why we have a federal government is to provide national security.
Well, speaking with U.S. Senator John Boozman, he's talking about some of the issues that are affecting our country today, and we want to thank Senator Boozman for joining us today.
Okay. I just want to ask one follow-up question on the national security topic. How do you propose that citizens can get more involved with this concerning reaching out to their U.S. senators or other representatives?
Well, I think in regard to national security or really any issues, whether it is the economy, jobs, if some of your listeners are having troubles with Social Security problems or, whatever, veterans problems, the list goes on and on, IRS, then they need to contact the office, and we would be glad to help them in any way that we could. I also think that it's really important, that we do pay attention, to what's going on, and like I say, email us, call us. I'm in the state all the time. Just grab me and say, John, what about this? What about that? We need to be doing that, this or that. All of those things really are very, very helpful.
Okay. Well, I want to switch gears just a little bit, sir. And we see that you were visiting Arkansas back in August during your national agricultural tour.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you heard from Arkansas agricultural producers about their desire to participate in voluntary farm conservation programs, but I'm sure you were faced with a lot of red tape, and that this issue is very important to you, and you teamed up with a colleague from Minnesota to introduce the Improving Access to Farm Conservation Act that would remove burdensome requirements and regulations that keep families from participating in the program. Can you please expound on that?
No, this is really important, and I think it's a good example of, the question that you asked earlier about how people can participate. And so every year we have an agriculture tour. Agriculture is probably about 20-25% of our economy, but in many areas of Arkansas it's closer to 95%. It's virtually everything, especially in some of our smaller towns. So it's really, really important. One of the things that we heard while we were out on our trip was that there was tremendous red tape with the conservation programs, and so what we've done is taken that back to Washington and trying to make it such that it was easier. It's kind of like when you go to you buy a piece of property, or you buy a home, and you sit there and you're signing 60 documents that you don't have a clue, what's in them. You're signing as fast as you can just to get done with it. That doesn't make any safer at all. And so the farmers, are running into the same problem. They've got all of this paperwork, all of this regulation, all of these hoops that they've got to jump through. And so it makes it really very, very difficult for the average person to understand that, and then also, have the expertise to fill the forms out and things like that. So again, just making things a little bit simpler.
Once again, we are speaking with U.S. Senator John Boozman of Arkansas, and we are certainly thankful that the senator took time out of his busy schedule to join us this morning. Senator, what are some of the things that are left on your plate that you want to accomplish before the end of this year, fiscal year, which ends September 30th?
Well, there's a couple of great things that we're doing right now. And one of them this weekend is I'll be going to the opening of the National African American History Museum. This has been a long time coming. It's something that the whole country is going to be very, very proud of. It's very well done. And so, there'll be a big celebration, a big opening this weekend concerning that, which is great. We've got some folks from Arkansas coming up to be part of that. So the other things that we have to get done in the next month or so is the government, the fiscal year for the government starts October 1st. And so we have to approve the budget, approve the spending for the government as it starts on. So we're working really hard to come to an agreement, on how those dollars need to be spent, making sure that the taxpayers are protected, always remembering that this isn't the government's money, this is the taxpayers' money, that we're trying to use in a way such that is not wasteful and things like that. So working really hard to get that done, and that's really the primary thing that's left right now. Then we'll break, have the election, and then come back and kind of finish up after the election's over before the first of the year.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, Mr. Senator Boozman. And
you can call me John.
Mr. Okay,
that's
John.
easier.
John.
John's easier.
Okay. I was going to send you an email. I'm still going to send you an email, but I want to just say on the air, thank you so much for supporting the Lymphedema Treatment Act. This is one thing that is near and dear to me because this is something that I don't want to say suffer with, I live with it. And so I saw a post that you and Senator Tom Cotton support this act, and I'm really grateful for that. So thank you so very much.
Oh no, that's it, like you say, it is very important, and that's getting the dollars in there for research funding. Is very, very important, and so we've worked hard in that regard, especially just beefing up research in general, so that we can attack some of these problems.
Because there's so much about this condition many people don't know, and if they can, if the patients can get treatment ahead of time versus after the fact, it would actually save a few dollars as well.
Right. Well, and you make a great point. We spend too much money, in Congress, and I think the only way that you get around that is a balanced budget amendment like we have in the state of Arkansas and probably 48 other states. On the other hand, it's okay to spend money as long as it's spent wisely, and investing in the research that it takes to make a huge difference with these things. Again, catching problems early, as you're describing, then you save so much money on the back end, in dealing with. Those are good things, and those are things that we look for, and something that we really support. I mentioned, things wrapping up. One of the other things that we're working really hard is to come to agreement on the Zika funding. This is the virus that's spread by mosquitoes, and it causes, a birth defect of making it such that, the children actually, it affects their brains dramatically. Mm. So this is another thing, that we need to get done. It's very, very important. But no, that's great.
John, while we're on the subject of thanking people, I also want to publicly thank you for the recognition that you gave to me and the radio station for the Arkansas Community Services Award.
Oh, no. We appreciate you guys so much.
Right.
And that's great.
Well, we truly thank you for being guests and for calling in. We love to hear all of the things that you are passionate about and the things you are working for Arkansas, the things you're doing for Arkansas, in the government.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and as always, enjoy it, and look forward to being in the area and just kind of hanging out.
All right, well, Senator,
with you guys.
All All right, well, John, I'm sorry.
That's right.
We're old school. We were taught to treat people with respect and call them by their title. So
No. I was taught the same thing, but that's fine.
All right, but John,
that's the nice thing about Arkansas is everybody knows everybody, and that's a good thing.
All right, John, before you go, is there anything else that you just wanted to say to the listeners that we did not cover, and just kind of let the listeners know why you feel that they should reelect you to another term of the United States Senate?
Well, I appreciate that, and I would just say, it's been such an honor to represent Arkansas and try and, represent them in the manner that they would expect. And so we're working hard, trying to do our very best, and, would like to carry on and continue to do that. So we just appreciate their support, and like I say, it's just a great honor to be from Arkansas. Another nice thing is that the Arkansas delegation works together very, very well when it comes to Arkansas. And it's John Paul Hammerschmidt, the great congressman from the 3rd District, out of Harrison, always reminded me, once elections are over, there's not any Democrats, there's not any Republicans, there's just the people of Arkansas. And, you work hard to represent everyone, and we really do work hard to do that. And then also always remembering, trying to use the power of the office for good, and helping people. That's really what it's all about. So we appreciate you guys very, very much.
Thank you, sir.
Final question. Let the listeners know if they have a question or a concern, how they can get in contact with your office.
Well, we've got a number of offices spread throughout the state. I can give you the Jonesboro office, and it is 870-268-6925. 870-268-6925. The other thing is that those your listeners, that are on the internet, they can certainly go to our website and contact us in that way also.
Okay.
All right. Once again, we want to thank John, U.S. Senator John Boozman, for joining us today. Once again, KLK and the Voice of Arkansas Minority Advocacy Council, we do not endorse nor support any candidate for office. We provide these interviews for your informational purposes only. But if you would like to learn more about Senator Boozman and his positions on the issue, definitely go to his website, call his office, and ask him questions, and then take that information and use that to make your choice in the ballot booth. Once again, thank you, John, for your time. You're certainly welcome to join us at any time.
Appreciate you, and again, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, sir. Have
Bye-bye.
a great day.
Thank you. You too.
And we want to once again thank U.S. Senator John Boozman for joining us. This is an extended edition of the Community Conversation. We'll be back at the top of the hour with Craighead County Judge Ed Hill. You listen to KLEK 102.5 FM.